Hello everybody, welcome back to Bandwagon Sports, and I know it's been a while. I have good reasoning behind it. I may make a video, I might not, it depends how I feel. But anyways, today I'm here talking about a very intriguing prospect that has come to light in this 2022 NHL entry draft, and that is a guy by the name of Joakim Kemell. Some of you guys might have heard of Joakim Kemell, some of you might have heard of what he's doing in the Liga this year, and it is historic. I believe Joakim Kemell right now has the potential to go ahead of guys like Wright, Matthew Savoie, and even Brad Lambert. All three of those guys, the three-headed monster of the 2022 NHL entry draft, might be broken up this year by Joakim Kemell. So we will see, but I'm going to tell you why I think Joakim Kemell has a very good chance of going #1 overall this year. Despite Shane Wright and his franchise tag, Joakim Kemell might be better. I'm going to get into it, so without further ado, let's hop into today's prospect report. So Joakim Kemell is 17 years old. He was born in something Finland. I can't even pronounce the name. He is a right winger. Currently sits at 5'11", 176 pounds, and has a right-handed shot. He is stuck in the league until 2023-24, so he's going to be there another couple years. That's when his contract expires. But honestly, Joakim Kemell is putting up such a great season. He's currently ranked, on that low tier of number 10, somewhere from 7 to 10. And I do think that's going to change over the course of this season. I do believe right now he is a top 5 potential prospect. And this is where it gets really interesting. In 16 games played, Joakim Kemell has put up 12 goals and 6 assists for 18 points. He is over a point per game playing at a men's level in Finland, the Liga. He has a +3, no penalty minutes so far, and honestly, Joakim Kemell's one of those guys where the World Juniors might make or break a #1 overall pick going to Joakim Kemell. But, I mean, you can just see 16 games played, 18 points. This is something that has not been done before by a U18 player in his draft year ever before. Like Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen, Patrik Laine, Anton Lundell. I mean, the list goes on with great players that have come out of the Liga. And Joakim Kemell might be better than them. He is putting up a better season than all of those guys. And we're going to go over their stats right now. And I'm just going to tell you how historic of a season Joakim Kemell really is putting up. So, just to justify how good Joakim Kemell's 1.13 points per game currently is this year for a U18 player, it is first among U18 players in the Liga. He has scored the most points per game out of any player right now, U18, which is insane in its own right. Joakim Kemell kind of came out of nowhere this year. But let's take a look at guys like Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen, Patrik Laine, who Aho not so much highly drafted, but Rantanen and Laine highly drafted Finns. Sebastian Aho, a guy who really came into his own in his draft +1 year in the Liga, which is what we're going to look at here when we look at the stats. And just going over kind of the rookie seasons there next year, officially in the NHL and for Rantanen in the AHL, just to kind of put in perspective what kind of rookie season we can see Joakim Kemell have if he continues this great progression in the Liga. So let's start with Sebastian Aho. His draft +1 year, he had exactly 1 point per game. He had 45 points in 45 games. And in the NHL, his rookie year, in 82 games played, Aho put up 49 points. So a very strong rookie year, a 50-point campaign after putting up a point per game in the Liga. Excellent. Mikko Rantanen, who put up half a point per game, drafted 9th overall by the Avalanche in the 2015 NHL draft. In 52 games played in the AHL, he had 60 points. He got 9 games in the NHL, didn't have a point there, but his rookie year in the NHL, he had about 40 points. I think it was like 38 or 39. Still very successful rookie year, had that good seasoning year in the AHL, and you look at a guy like Rantanen now who's putting up constant 70, 80, potentially 90-point seasons alongside guys like McKinnon and Landeskog, and I believe even on his own Rantanen could put up numbers like that, 80, 90 points a season. And then you take a look at a guy like Patrik Laine, drafted 2nd overall behind Austin Matthews in the 2016 NHL entry draft. He had a .72 points per game in the Liga in his 18 year. And his rookie year in the NHL, he had 64 goals with 64 points, with 37 goals in 73 games played. He had a monstrous rookie year. Hasn't really been able to replicate that success since then. He had one good year, but Laine's been a little bit on the downward trend. But still, just looking at these guys' rookie years coming out of the Liga with great numbers, and all these guys, maybe not so much Patrik Laine, but Sebastian Aho, Mikko Rantanen, and potentially Patrik Laine. One day, Patrik Laine showed he can be a 40-goal scorer and an elite winger. These guys are all NHL All-Star caliber players, and Joakim Kemell is playing better than all of them, and even a guy like Sebastian Aho, who needed his +1 year to really break out. So this is just kind of what I'm saying when I'm talking. Joakim Kemell is putting up a historic season. It's insane, and I mean, you could see Joakim Kemell become better than Aho Rantanen and Line 8. It could happen. I'm not going to say it is, but just to put in perspective, the point totals that these guys put up in their rookie years and their, +1 years, Joakim Kemell is really doing it all right now, and who knows what Joakim Kemell can do in the NHL if this is the season he's going to have this year. And now I would like to talk to the reasoning why I think Joakim Kemell has a really legit shot of going number 1. All three of the three-headed monster guys are kind of slumping. Matthew Savoie, probably the one that's living up to the most hype. He is currently top 10 in WHL scoring. But when it comes to Shane Wright and Brad Lambert, I have not liked what I've seen. Shane Wright in 10 games played only has 12 points. I know the support in Kingston is limited, but he still has guys like Martin Chromiak, Zaid Wisdom, to kind of help him in his scoring. And it's just not there for Shane Wright this year. I do hope it gets better, but I gotta put Joakim Kemell ahead of Shane Wright. Matthew Savoie, 14 games played, 18 points. He is currently top 10 in WHL scoring. He was first about a week ago. Dropped off a little bit, but still putting the puck in the net, still getting points on the board in that powerhouse Winnipeg system. And I would think Matthew Savoie right now is number 2 for me in my draft rankings. And then Brad Lambert, 15 games played, 4 points in the Liga. And he had a really rough start to the year. 11 games played, he only had 1 point. He was a minus player. He stepped it up quite a bit since then. He's had 3 points in his last 4 games. And I've really liked what I've seen out of Lambert in those past 4 games. You just need a little bit of seasoning, conditioning to work on some things. And now I think he's back. And Brad Lambert still probably in the low, like that 6 to 10 range in my rankings. But I do believe he has the potential to jump back up. So when it really comes to the three-headed monster, none of these guys are particularly putting up excellent stats. Matthew Savoie is the exception there. I think that he's putting up very solid numbers, but I would have to peg Joakim Kemell ahead of all of these guys right now, with just the historic season that he's having, how great his goal scoring has looked, his puck handling skills, his skating, everything in Joakim Kemell's game that I liked last year that really made me put him as a borderline top 10 pick. He's elevated it, +1, +2, +3. He is just on fire, and he's the best player in the Liga. He currently sits number 1 in points in the Liga as well, tied with 2 other players, but also has 2 games played less than one of those players, 4 games played less than the other guy who's tied with Kemell. So currently Joakim Kemell is the best player in the Finnish men's league at 17 years old. It is insane, and I just turned 18, so to see that someone younger than me putting up numbers like this, it's pretty insane. But in terms of potential for Joakim Kemell, I don't think he's going to be a franchise player. Let's just back it up. I don't think Joakim Kemell is going to be a franchise-defining player. Usually on the wing, you don't do that. There's really not a lot of players in the league, except maybe Nikita Kucherov and Alex Ovechkin, David Pastrnak, Leon Draisaitl is a center. So I'm going to say those 3 guys that have the franchise-defining potential on the wing. And I don't know if I see Joakim Kemell becoming an Ovechkin or Kucherov or Pastrnak, but I definitely see him maybe coming close to that level. Definitely an 80 to 90 point guy, a scorer who can put up 40 to 50 goals a year, and I'm going to put his potential at probably a high elite kind of guy, like just one of those guys right on the border, but not quite there, almost like a Mikko Rantanen. That's kind of what I'm going to say right now for Joakim Kemell's potential. And yes, I do have Joakim Kemell going number 1 right now. There's just nothing in my mind that says, there's no one better in this draft to go number 1 right now than Joakim Kemell. And I do think NHL GMs, if they get that number 1 overall pick, they're still going to go out there and take Shane Wright for that potential franchise-defining center who can do it all. And I do believe Shane Wright will live up to that potential. He's just getting off to a bit of a slow start. And even 12 points in 10 games, that's a slow start for him. So that tells you how good Shane Wright is. But Joakim Kemell right now has to be number 1 in this draft class. And if he's not, I'm sorry. But you just cannot pass up on a historic player like Joakim Kemell. Maybe not franchise-defining, but definitely a great elite-level scorer, a 50-goal scorer, a Rocket Richard guy in the future potentially. Joakim Kemell's potential is honestly endless right now, and I'm so happy I could bring this video to you guys to talk about him. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I know I didn't really get into Joakim Kemell's skills much, But, honestly, it kind of explains itself in my opinion. He's a high-speed shooter who can kind of do it all offensively. Defensively, it's a different case. He's decent, but not great defensively. But honestly, Joakim Kemell has really emerged out of nowhere, and I just really wanted to bring the awareness up to this guy. I think you guys know how much I love to really increase the awareness of some of these players who I think are kind of criminally underrated, and guys who coming in the future who could potentially really break out and be a star. Joakim Kemell is one of those guys, and I don't think he's getting quite the attention he deserves. I've seen a couple posts on him, but really not enough where I'm like, yeah, this guy's really getting the attention he needs, because he's not. So this video hopefully will help some of you guys realize how good Joakim Kemell is playing this year, and maybe go out there and adjust your draft board. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I am really happy to be back. I will be posting some more videos. The Sharks GM mode has not gone anywhere. I just haven't really had time to record. Again, I may make a video on that topic, but it is a little bit of a touchy one, so we'll see. But I'm glad I can make this video for you guys. The second scouting report of 2022. Be expecting more soon. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. But for now, bye.